So as we work to apply our wellness strategy to the endocrine system, let's get a little more familiar. I know we talked already in the summary kind of which organs we're going to talk about, but let's go a little deeper and figure out how this strategy is going to be applied. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke. This is Minke Wellness, and we're talking about the endocrine system, which is our hormones, okay? And so I've said already, but one of the things we've got to do is get rid of the synthetic fragrances. Many of those sprays, spritzers, all potentially contain hormone disruptors. Even in very, very small quantities, things that are hormone disruptors will act in very small quantities. So you've got to get rid of all those. Let's assume for the moment that we have eliminated those. We've gotten rid of our fragrance candles, our sprays, any kind of bathroom spray or anything that has a fragrance in it, disinfectant spray that has fragrance in it, as well as the cleaning solutions and perfume and personal care products and lotions. Let's assume that you've been going along with this program all year and you've gotten rid of all of those, okay? Now, we want to make sure that our system, our endocrine system, our sense of smell is all clean, and we're going to clean that out. So we're going to do a little bit of cleansing breath to clean out that, because we want to make sure that we're making good connections. So what our video today is to focus on connecting to the different parts. We're going to be very organic with this, and we're going to do the breathing and work with, getting in touch with these different organs, the endocrine system. So first of all, I'm going to breathe in, and I'm actually going to use, I'm going to use frankincense. I know if you have the premium starter kit, you've got that in your kit. And so I'm going to use a drop of frankincense just to inhale, and I just, do a spread. And inhale, spread, and inhale. Now, the rest goes on my skin. I'm going to imagine that those frankincense molecules are coming up and cleaning off all that grunge, okay? So imagine there's, if I breathe in to my pineal, hypothalamus, pituitary, just imagine 3 little blobs in the middle of the brain. It doesn't have to be specific if you have to image the structures, but just I'm going to breathe into those 3 spots. That's my intention. And I want to look at them. That's that listening breath. I'm going to look at them and see what the shape is. Like I'm going to imagine them as little glass spheres, and I want their light to shine out, but that window, that glass on the outside is grunged up. And that's all those toxins. It's the industrial waste, the coal tar, the whatever. The synthetic fragrances, all this stuff, all that has made its way into the brain. If you've done any painting or anything with any fumes, that are chemical toxic fumes, then there's potential that those little glass spheres that are supposed to let their light out, and again, I'm just making an image, are all grunged up. So I'm going to breathe in, and I'm going to designate, balls number 1, 2, and 3, little spheres 1, 2, and 3, 1 being pineal, 2 being hypothalamus, 3 being pituitary. And so I'm just going to line them up, 1, 2, and 3. And so breathe into 1, take a look at it. How grunged up is it? How strong is its light? Is the light getting out? And then number 2, hypothalamus. Okay, and so there's a part. See, when I breathe into that and imagine looking at that orb, it is only on the back side. In other words, it's grungy. Okay, and then as I breathe into pituitary, and so same thing, I'm getting an image of how much. So now I'm going to breathe in, and I'm going to pretend that frankincense is helping me, and I'm going to go in and scrub clean all 3 of those spheres, and they're different colors. I'm just going to pick a color. My pineal gland looks a little bit green, hypothalamus maybe yellow, pituitary is more bright white. Okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to breathe in. And in fact, I think they should all be white. So I think the yellow and the green is probably maybe not. Let's just go. I'm going to turn them all white, or whatever color they're intended to be. But so I'm going to ask the light to shine out. Now, you have to realize what an endocrine organ does is it produces hormones, and those hormones make their way out, and they give their light. They give their message. out, and that is a chemical message that runs through the bloodstream. In this case, we're just using this imagery. So, okay, so I'm going to have this bright light, fire up, and so it's activation of the. Now I want it appropriate. I'm not, if I don't want my pineal gland stimulated right now, it's only going to be stimulated as much as I want it to be, as much as is appropriate. So I'm going to have that light fire up and then shine out. That's 1 and 2 and 3. So I'm just using the breath with the imagery, breathing that power, that spiritual power that comes in through the breath, and breathing that in. So now I've got the pineal, hypothalamus, pituitary. I'm going to do the same thing with the thyroid. I'm going to imagine all of these as spheres. I mean, you could do left and right lobe of the thyroid, but I'm just going to do it all as one sphere. So I'm listening, then I'm cleansing, then I'm having it shine out. Now I'm going to do the same thing as I go down. I could do thymus, but let's go ahead and do thymus, which is this one right here. It produces a lot of the immune system, which we did last month. But again, I'm talking about getting rid of this grunge. This is this chemical grunge that I'm asking the body to clear, and I'm encouraging. I'm using the frankincense as part of helping my imagery. It has an odor, so I get the sense of smell. I'm going to maybe use another drop. Send this to my thyroid and my thymus. And cleanse off that glass sphere and let the light shine out. Okay, thymus. Now I'm going to go down to pancreas. I'm going to include the liver, so I'm going to two of them down here, pancreas and liver. So again, I'm going to imagine that chemical coating, washing off, the frankincense, washing that off. This is just pretend, just an imagery. And the light to shine out from the pancreas, which is right there in the middle, and the liver. And then we move on down to ovaries if you're a woman, testes if you're a guy. Okay, again, in this case, you've got definitely two, especially for women, two different sides. Let's do left ovary testes first, right ovary testes second. So I'm going to breathe in. And it's actually very grungy. So I'm going to, and that's actually not a surprise, because if you go back to my video about absorption through the skin, the genital areas are 300 times more absorbent than the bottom of the feet. So that they can get junked up. So the other thing is this line right here, the jawline, is 150 times more absorbent than the bottom of the feet. So the thyroid gets all junked up. As stuff comes in, chemicals absorb through here as they even just from the air, and that lymph goes and dumps directly into the thyroid. So our thyroid gets all junked up, our genital, hormone, the gonads get all junked up. And this is a consequence of how absorbent they are. And this is very important as we start to look at, like for underwear and your clothes. If you got chemicals on your clothes and in your fabric softener and all that kind of junk, then that's going to absorb 300 times better into your gonads, into your reproductive system than on the than other places of your body. So let's be really clear about why we're doing this clean. This is not necessarily, although it's good for the environment too, we're talking about the primary focus is us, our environment. This is good for us. This is good for each of us individually to get rid of these junky chemical products and move into natural. And of course, Young Living offers these options in the natural arena. Yes, they're more expensive, but what is it worth? You're going to pay maintenance or you're going to pay repair. And so I much prefer the maintenance, because then I have the confidence of being able to do what I want in life, okay? Not having a crash and burn and then have to deal with the consequences of that. Okay, so I was at the pancreas, liver. I'm going down to the testes, ovaries, breathed in, saw a lot of grunge. Let's clear that off. I'm going to use a little bit more frankincense. I've used 3 or 4 drops already, so here's just I don't know if you can see, just a, doesn't really show, there it is. So see, just a drop, spread and inhale. And I'm going to send that right down into the reproductive system to cleanse that off. Left first, then right. Single breath, cleansing off all that grunge. And then the light to shine out. Left first, then right. Okay, so this is just an exercise to cleanse, do a cleansing breath, to wipe off and cleanse off all this grunge that gets into the reproductive, gets into the endocrine system and blocks the signals that go out. Maybe we can think of these as the receptor sites on the surface of the cells. We can think of it however we like to, but we're just using an imagery that anyone, and you don't have to be a cell biologist to understand that, and we're getting that message from these endocrine organs out to the body where it belongs. Okay, so that's our exercise for today. Of course, we need to stop poisoning, so we got to get rid of those synthetic fragrances and minimize the chemical exposures as much as we can. But assuming we've been working on all that all year, this is again. So breathe in and feel how shiny and clear your endocrine signals are, and how much nicer a day is going to go when I've got my hormone signals that are working right. Okay. Now, as we just did that, we're starting to get more and more familiar. If you've never breathed into any of these organs, this is going to be a little bit challenging, and so it takes practice. That's all it is it takes practice using the breath, linking it to some kind of image, and imagining that is so you're telling your subconscious mind, or your subconscious mind is coming back out and telling you what the communication is. You're just using that imagination to communicate with your body through breath. Okay, that's what the whole therapeutic breath system is. Okay, one day at a time, practice a little bit of this breathing. If you have not been doing the breathing along the way, practice. And what does it take? One breath to practice that. And practice it. And if you get frustrated, just do your best you can, and then come back to it at the end of the day and do another round. And you'll find that the next time you breathe into your pineal gland, it comes easier. Okay, so that connection is starting to be made, and the power of you knowing and being able to influence your body with a single breath, very powerful. We can add an essential oil, like I said, to that to kind of enhance that experience. Okay, happy wellness, one day at a time.